Greetings and welcome to the Astronomy Picture of the Day podcast. Today's picture for March 30th of 2025 is titled A Partial Solar Eclipse over Iceland. So what do we see here? Well, here we have an image of the solar eclipse that occurred yesterday, and we see the sun as it rises, but it kind of looks like a moon, does it not? It looks like a crescent moon. Well, this is because the sun and moon were rising at the same time. Well, actually, they do that once a month, and that is the phase of new moon, when the moon is closest to the sun. And when that happens, then the moon can, if everything is lined up perfectly, can block out the sun, either all of it or just a portion of it, depending on the exact positioning. And that's what we are seeing here. We see the sun there with the person standing in front, reaching their arms out toward the sun. And then the moon there you can't see directly, but you can see the effect as it blocks out a portion of the sun. Now, the closer everything is to lining up exactly, the more of the sun's surface will be blocked. So this was visible from parts of the world. Depending on where you happen to be, you could see more or less of an eclipse as the sun rose. In the eastern part of the US, it was a very tiny bit of the sun blocked out as the sun rose. And the further east you went, the more of the sun would be blocked out. So here, by the time we get over to Iceland and then further into Europe, then more and more of the sun could be blocked out. Now, this was a partial solar eclipse. So nowhere on the Earth was there a total solar eclipse where the sun was completely blocked out by the moon. And no matter where you were. So the actual shadow of the moon didn't quite hit the Earth. The entire deepest part of the shadow was a little bit above the Earth's North Pole. So you would have had to have been in space to actually see a total solar eclipse this time. Now, eclipses come in seasons, and you may recall just 2 weeks ago at the full moon, we had a total lunar eclipse where the moon passed into Earth's shadow and had its direct light from the sun blocked off. Now, this is part of that same eclipse season, but we had a very prominent, very strong lunar eclipse because that was right at the middle, the best part of the eclipse season. So this one is toward the end of that season, and therefore it's not as good of an eclipse in terms of how much of the sun is covered. So when you get eclipses at the very end of an eclipse season, usually the moon is starting to get too far away from the sun, too far north or south of the sun, and can no longer completely block out its light. So we tend to notice that when you get any very prominent eclipse, such as a lunar or a solar eclipse, or say a total solar eclipse, then you might get a couple of weeks later a partial eclipse of the opposite type. And that's the way these come in groupings, just depending on exactly the positioning of the sun, moon, and Earth. But these can be predicted with extreme accuracy, and you can figure out and go to various websites to figure out when eclipses will occur years, decades, or even centuries from now. So that was our picture of the day for March 30th of 2025. It was titled A Partial Solar Eclipse over Iceland. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture, previewed to be Inside Out Solar System. So we'll see what that is about tomorrow. And until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.